What's up, y'all? I'm Philip. I'm your host today for FL Outdoors, and you saw my boy Buster there. Not sure if you guys have been paying attention, but Hurricane Irma has been officially upgraded to Category 5 hurricane today. So I ran over to Walmart to get some supplies. Probably not the same supplies that you guys are probably out there getting. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to be self-sustainable after a hurricane and how I prep for a hurricane. So we're going to make minnow traps and homemade catfish bait today. This will last you long after a storm. It'll get you a sustainable food source for as long as you need it to, and then with some other survival techniques and fire building and stuff like that, you can last as long as you need to. So I'm going to show you how country boys survive after big storms, and we're going to start off with homemade catfish bait, and then we'll go on to the minnow trap. I'm going to go ahead and apologize now while I'm at it. My GoPro case has definitely seen better days, so it's going to be a little bit before we get any more underwater footage for our how-to videos. Just show you. That's duct tape holding my case together. The little latch on top here broke, so duct tape and WD-40. That's all you need in life. Alright, so we got our ingredients list ready to go for the homemade catfish bait. I'll run through it real quick with you. First of all, most importantly, is going to be a car air freshener. Because if you make your stink bait right, you're not going to want to leave it in your truck without having something to counteract the smell. Second thing is we've got some cherry Kool-Aid packets. Catfish are hunters, and the way they hunt is by sight and smell. The red is going to take the blood trail element into effect when we do our catfish bait. Next thing, it's going to be some cheap hot dogs. I got these for 88 cents at Walmart. All together, all these supplies cost me less than $4. So we got me an 8-pack of hot dogs. Next thing is going to be garlic. We got us some crushed garlic, minced garlic. And then we've got some anise extract. This was about $2. I think it was the most expensive thing that I bought. But we'll go ahead and open this bad boy up. Give it a whiff. So, for those of you that don't know, anise or star anise extract smells just like black licorice. So if you like black licorice, don't eat the stink bait. It'll probably upset your stomach. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut open our little packet of hot dogs here. Like I said, these were 88 cents, I think, at Walmart. It's just catfish. Don't get them the nice pricey all natural or ballpark franks or anything like that. This could be the leftovers. It doesn't have to be great quality hot dogs. Actually, the way catfish operated, probably be better off if you had the cheap stuff anyways. They're not high class. Nice part about catfish is I can spend $4 on a dinner date with them and spend a couple hours having a good time. So what we're going to do with our hot dogs is we're going to go ahead and slice these up. Probably about maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. We're going to do this to all of our hot dogs. Alright, so we got our hot dogs all nice and cut up, little 1/2 inch pieces, and we're going to take them and stick them in a Ziploc bag. Maybe they'll go on the floor. So we're going to stick those in a Ziploc baggie here. Here you go, Buster. Give him a little snack while we're at it. So, these are some old Kool-Aid packages. Like I said, doesn't have to be anything fancy. We're just going to dump these Kool-Aid packages in here. Doesn't matter what flavor, as long as it's red, it'll get them. That one doesn't even have Kool-Aid in it. It's empty. Anyways, as long as it's red in color, it doesn't matter. All we're looking for is that blood trail effect in the water. Nice thing about blood trails in the water is the further away from your bait that a fish gets, the harder it is to locate the smell. You just kind of get an odor in the area, but you really can't pinpoint it. The blood trail can give fish that direction. So catfish, while smell is their #1 way to hunt and track down food, visual cues are really helpful. So we're going to take this bottle of anise extract. We're just going to dump all of it here. Now, there are tons and tons of these catfish bait recipes that you can find anywhere on the internet. This is the cheapest and easiest that I've come across. And I'm not really using measurements either, so it's easy to do. Whew. Give that a whiff. That's got some stank on it. So, like I said, I'm not really measuring, so I'm just going to dump all of this garlic in here. I'm going to make sure our bag is sealed up nice and tight. Don't want to get any nastiness all over me while we're mixing this up. But we're going to go ahead and give it a good shake. Let it all mix together and marinate. Alright, there you have it. That's my $4 stink bait. Nice thing about doing it this way is hot dogs stick to your hook a lot better than that stuff. They're a lot easier to manipulate with a pair of pliers, and you don't got to get that nastiness all over your finger. So we're gonna stick this in our fridge and let it sit for a couple days, let the smells just kind of ruminate. I'm probably gonna double seal it so little mama doesn't get mad that it smells like something died in the refrigerator. Let's look in there, huh? Sure does stink. So that's it. That's my $4 catfish bait. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments and I'll get back with you. It's just a nice easy recipe that I came across. A bunch of the other recipes you had to cook stuff and mix it together. All I did was buy a whole bunch of stuff and dump it in a Ziploc. So this is probably the quickest and easiest catfish recipe that you're going to come across. So now we're going to move on to the minnow trap. Alright guys, we've cleaned and bleached our counter here. That stink bait smell, I had to double bag it. It started permeating through the bag and stinking at the house. So it's going to stay at the Madre's house because it stinks that bad. Next up, we're going to do a minnow trap. Minnows work just as good for live bait for catfish as they do for bass. But it's another easy to do, easily sustainable bait source that you can use. So that way it's inexpensive, and you can keep fishing when you're cut off from a food source or a supply to where you can't get to a store or anything like that. This is all part of my hurricane readiness preparation. So just to make the minnow trap, I've taken a generic sports drink bottle, a 2-liter bottle, and a 20-ounce bottle. There are a lot easier ways to do this. This is how I like to do it, and as we're making it, it'll make more sense. Along with the bottles, I've got me a permanent, semi-permanent marker, some duct tape, because duct tape works on everything, nice sharp knife, and a good pair of scissors. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the bottle tops off of our sports drink bottle and our 20-ounce bottle. So I'm going to start a nice little hole there and just kind of run around the top rim just like this. There are other ways that you can do. Get my other camera fixed up and ready to go. Now, there are other ways that you can go about these minnow traps. You can even buy minnow traps if you want, but I'd be willing to bet most of you have these supplies just laying around your house. Why spend money if you don't need to, right? So there's the top of our sports drink. You can save this for a spittoon unless you're cool and have a mud jug. Or you can put screws and nails in there, whatever you want. Top of our sports drink lid, we've got our 20-ounce soda bottle, and instead of cutting up here like I did the first one, we're going to cut down here. Alright, so there's our soda bottle. Throw the rest of it away. Now, this is where the marker comes in handy. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up our soda bottle with the bottom of the 2-liter here. And it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, just like that. We're going to take our knife. We're going to run it into the bottom of the 2-liter. Okay, and we're just going to throw this away. So now we've got the bottom of our 2-liter open. What we're going to do here is we're going to take the lid off of our 20-ounce soda bottle. The reason why I'm using 2 different size bottles is because the minnows can fit in this hole really easily. They can get out of this hole very easily. So there's a method to my madness. I'm going to show you. What we're going to do is we're going to run the soda bottle into the 2-liter this way. Just like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our duct tape. And we're going to wrap our duct tape to where it gets on the 20-ounce soda bottle, but also connects with the 2-liter bottle. Alright, so this is what we have so far. Our little ends duct taped in there pretty good. And the reason why we wanted a little slack or a little extra space on our 20-ounce soda bottle is minnows can swim in very easily, but they're going to have to make sure they find that hole to get back out. So they've got all this space up around the entrance of the 2-liter to bounce around, so that way it's harder for them to get out than it is for them to get in. Next, we're going to take the top of our generic sports drink bottle and we're going to outline it. So we're going to take our blade into the 2-liter again, and we're going to cut just along this outline here. Mosey! I don't think it's a real dog. Anything that bounces when it barks isn't a real dog. So we've got our bottles all set up. Now we're going to take our sports drink bottle top and stick it inside the 2-liter bottle so it sits just like that. Anybody seen my duct tape? Found it. It was in the garbage. So, we've got our duct tape, we've got our sports drink bottle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to duct tape the lid to the sports drink bottle in the 2-liter. Alright, so this is our minnow trap so far, and we'll fix and talk about it in a minute. This is our minnow trap. I've gone through and added strips of duct tape to just kind of cover the ends of it here, kind of clean it up a little bit. So this also helps with hiding the ends of it. When you cover the ends with duct tape like this, it kind of covers it so the minnows can't see their way back out. And it also helps so they can smell food and see the hole to get into the food, and it kind of funnels them in there with the contour of the bottle. The way the bottle contours. Covering the ends help, so that way they can't really see it's a trap. All they do is smell the food, know that this hole leads to the food, and the contour of this bottle will help guide them to the food, but it'll also cover their exit so that way they can't get out. The reason why I used the Gatorade bottle as this other end here is very important, for the reason being that I can unscrew the cap, I can fill my trap full of bait, and then I can seal the bait up in there nice and easy. When I get done with the trap or I'm ready to get my minnows out, I just unscrew the trap, dump out the minnows, dump out all the excess bait, and we're good to go. Now we've got something that we can attach a little string to string to. We don't have to worry about tying off to the bottle somewhere or anything like that, and it makes it easier to carry. So we're going to secure that with a little bit more duct tape. There we go. There's our carry handle. Now, for the next step in this, all you really need is something sharp and pointy. We're going to try something different than a screw. I'll be back. Alright, so what I'm just going to end up doing is I'm going to take my knife and cut little X's in it. Just like this here. So that way water can get in, but it's not a hole big enough for the fish to get out. And there you have it. We've got a bunch of little holes poked in the side of our trap here. That'll help water get in and help air get out, so that way your trap doesn't sit and bob the whole time, and it'll sink nice and get to where the minnows are. But that's a do-it-yourself minnow trap. Alright folks, that's the end of today's video. Today you saw me make homemade stink bait and a homemade minnow trap. They're good, easy to use, really cheap bait traps and baits that you can do at home. Like I said, I made most of this for less than $4. And most of it you can make with stuff that you have laying around the house. With Hurricane Irma coming so shortly after Hurricane Harvey, here in Escambia, Florida, where I live, they have a saying that's the first 72 is on you, meaning you need to have enough supplies, enough food, enough water to last 72 hours before rescue members can get to you. It's very important that you pay attention. If they tell you to get out, that means leave. Don't try and be a hero. Don't try and stay. This stuff kills people, and it destroys lives and it destroys homes. So find a place for your pets, find a place for you. When they say get out of town, you need to get out of town. It's been upgraded to a Category 5 hurricane as of probably 2 hours ago. I think they're still expecting for it to hit Central Florida and Tampa, but it's still about a week out, so it could change directions anytime. It can go wherever it wants to. I mean, you can plan for weather, but you can't truly predict the weather. So when they say get out, that means get out. If you're going to stay, make sure you got enough supplies to last a good 3 days before rescue people can get to you. And while we're on that subject of rescuers, these rescuers stay behind and stick out these storms because of the people that don't listen, and they stay behind. So your choice to stay behind when people tell you to evacuate is putting other lives at risk. It's putting first responders at risk. It's putting police officers, firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs. It's putting all of them at risk because they're here to help you when things get bad. And if they have to come rescue you and end up getting injured and getting hurt because you were stupid enough to stay behind when they told you to leave, that just pisses me off. So think about your safety. Think about the people that are going to have to come save you when you get stuck, and think about your family. When they tell you to leave, that means leave. Sorry for the serious note. Again, my name's Philip for FL Outdoors. You saw me make the homemade stink bait and the homemade minnow trap. I live on the East Coast. More accurately, I live on the Gulf Coast here in the Florida Panhandle. So not all of my tips and tricks are going to work for you all over the rest of the country. This is stuff that I've just found that works over the last couple years. I have a friend in California that does YouTube also. You can follow him at Matt Luna Fishing. Real great guy. I've watched a couple of his videos and he's got some really good quality content up there. So if you live in that part of the country, check him out. A lot of his tips might better cater towards your style of fishing than my tips would. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at FL Outdoors. Go ahead and squeeze that like button, subscribe to the page, and leave us some love down in the comments. Once again, my name's Philip, and as always, get outdoors. So, just a little late night edit. It's 8:30 at night. Shot the video around 2 o'clock this afternoon. When I got home, I couldn't figure out what stunk so bad, and I thought the dog just really needed a bath, so he didn't. He smells nice. Here's my stink bait. I had to vacuum seal the bag that it was in, put it in 4 Ziploc bags, and then re-vacuum seal the bag that the vacuum sealed bag was already in. So invest in a food saver if you don't have one. They work out pretty nice. But for your stink bait, unless you go to the lengths that I just went to of double vacuum sealed and a bazillion Ziploc baggies, outdoor fridge works best. Y'all have a good night.